Hands up, anyone filled in the student survey yet? 3, right, 4. Woo! How long did it take you? 5 minutes. There you are, look, it only takes 5 minutes. We're getting to the bribing stage now, right? Here it comes, here's the bribe. The bribe is, I'll give an extra session, right, to the whole year with 15 medical emergencies in single best answers format. So it'd take about 3 hours, or 2-3 hours, okay? And everyone that comes has to fill in the National Student Survey. So it will be in an IT lab and we'll go through it. So if you come, we'll do it twice. So there's no excuse for you not to come, right? So you come, do the medical emergencies, and I get you to fill in the National Student Survey, which will take you 5 minutes at the beginning. So pretty, and if you've already filled it in, you can come for sure. Right, so there's the deal. Second one, I don't know if has anyone been online and seen the videos? Yeah, well, you've been watching them avidly, I can tell, right? If you like them, can you email Deborah James, which is d.a.james@QMUL, and just say they're fantastic. This week, we're going to plough through. If you thought last week was difficult, lots of people say to me, oh, it wasn't that bad. Well, this week gets even more difficult. Right, so we're going to try and do all of alimentary disease, so GI and hepatobiliary in some kind of thing. We won't get through it all. Hopefully, in the surgical sessions, they'll have covered quite a lot of abdominal conditions, right? So a little bit of a hiccup there from the man, right? Maybe a little bit. Well, hopefully they'll have covered quite a lot. So I'm relying on them to do some of it because I'm just not going to get through it all. Okay, so we're going to start with history. So, history. Tell me some symptoms of GI disease. Yeah, you're sitting there at the front. Can't sit at the front and not. Vomiting, okay? And if you vomit, you might. Nausea, right? You are nauseated, not nauseous, right? Nauseated. Vomiting. Right, what do you want to know about my vomit? Right, so what does it look like? Okay. Any blood in it? All right. So volume, frequency, etc. Right. So nausea and vomiting. Right. So you said blood. So lady behind, you get to talk about. What's it called when you vomit blood? Hematemesis. Right. Hematemesis. Right. So what do you want to know about the hematemesis? Right. So volume, lady next to her. How often, right? So volume, frequency, we talked about this with hemoptysis, right? Hematemesis, vomiting blood. So volume, frequency, okay? What you're actually vomiting. So is it altered blood? Is it just sort of coffee ground vomit? Right? Is it fresh blood? Is it clots, etc.? Okay? So nausea and vomiting, hematemesis, another one. Something else? It's not our fault. Right. Abdo pain. And what do you want about the abdo pain? So we go through Socrates, yeah, fair enough. But localization, abdomen pain, is really useful. So where it is, if it's general, okay, it's not going to help you that much. But where it is in quadrants or areas actually does narrow it down often. It can be referred pain, right? But you want to know what makes it better, what makes it worse, what's the character of pain. Is it colicky, right? Is it constant? Associated symptoms, etc. Right? So you go through the whole thing. Right. Another thing? So jaundice. We'll come back to jaundice. We'll stick that to one side. So we had nausea and vomiting, hematemesis, abdominal pain. Bowel habit. Right? What does bowel habit mean?
If it's regular, irregular.
It's not AF, right? It's regularly, irregular, yeah? Right? So, regular or irregular? No, I'm not buying that one. What do you really want to know? Before you get to that, what's your normal bowel habit? How often do you open your bowels, right? So, regular versus irregular, I'm not sure that's terminology. I know what you meant, but I would say, what is your normal bowel habit? What, for you, when you were last well, how often do you used to open your bowels, right? And how has it changed now? Because people will use phrases like constipation and diarrhea, and what they mean is, I used to open my bowels 3 times a week, and now I open them every day. And that's diarrhea to them, okay? As opposed to someone who's constipated is, I open my bowels 3 times a day, and now just once a day, okay? But they have had a change in their normal bowel habit, okay? Obviously, more sinister would be they have loose stools, have blood, etc., all right? Or they have constipation that used to have a normal bowel habit once or twice a day, and suddenly it's once a week. Right? So extreme kind of change. And over how long? Okay? All right? Should we let it get away with it or not? No, let it get away with it. So another one. Another. Anorexia. Right. Anorexia. All right. So anorexia, weight loss. What do you want about weight? Really important to take a good nutritional weight history. No one does, but you should. Right. How much and how long? So the way I was taught to take a weight history by Professor Tuck was everyone knows kind of what their fighting weight was. What's your normal weight? When did you last weigh that? It's that forensic thing. When did you last see the person alive? When were they found dead? They died between those 2 points, right? So it's the same thing. So when you're well, when you're really well, how much do you weigh? Okay? How much do you weigh now? And get them weighed. Because that's another thing that never happens in hospital. You can never get them weighed. Get them weighed, and you know between that point and that point, that's how much they've lost. Was it a rapid fall off and it's, you know, just sort of bottomed out, for want of a better phrase, right? Or is it a very rapid progression, or is it a slow progression, 5 years after slowly taking off? Have they actively been dieting? All right? So a weight history is important, an appetite, all right? Again, what would you normally eat in a normal day? When you're well, talk me through a normal day. What would you have for breakfast? Would you have anything in between? Lunch, in between, tea, dinner, whatever you want to call it, and then in the evening, any snacks, right? What do you eat now? Okay? And often corroborative history is important because people say they're not eating at all. They have a bowl of soup a day, that's it. Why aren't you eating is the next question. Right? What's happened? What's changed to make you stop eating? Just don't fancy it, you know, a classic kind of malignancy thing. It just makes me feel sick. I can't even look at food. Down to, oh, I've got this terrible pain in my throat. Every time the food goes down, it hurts, makes me feel sick. I am sick, etc. I've got early satiety, right? So I feel full quickly, and then I bring it all back up, etc. So good history, appetite, what you're eating, weight. Okay? Okay, another symptom. Dysphagia, right? Right? So dysphagia with a G, right? Difficulty in swallowing. Right. What do you want to know about dysphagia? Number one, the level. Why? She's not sure. She's sitting there in a red seat and she shouts out level and then she doesn't know. Right, okay, that's all right. All right, she's aimed to be picked on there. Anyone know why? What's the big thing about level? So I tell you I get it to here. Right? Doesn't even reach the base of my neck. It's there. I go, and it all just comes back out. It comes down my nose. Right? Sorry? So here versus here versus here versus getting to the stomach, and then I just feel very full very quickly, and then it comes back up, whatever. So a level will give you a clue. Remember, dysphagia in the neck, right? So the base of the neck is meant to be neuromuscular. Right. It can be other things. You can have pouches and stuff like that. But classically, that inability to initiate and actually start your swallowing, your peristalsis, is meant to be neuromuscular. And the classic symptom you get with that is you just bring back unaltered food, so whatever you're eating just comes straight back, okay? And it often comes down your nose as well, because it goes shooting up through your nasopharynx and out your nose, okay? And a nasal regurgitation. And that's a classic symptom of neuromuscular diseases like motor neuron disease. All right, so high dysphagia, it's called high dysphagia up here. All right, it doesn't even get past the base of their neck. Okay, and then once it's into the esophagus, okay, obviously high esophageal things different to lower esophageal things. So you're thinking about stricture.